what I do know is over many years that sack the board normally means sack the manager. It's normally the manager that goes when that starts to be sung. But
well, if there's one thing Brendan Rodgers got right tonight, it's probably what he was on about in his presser post-match. Welcome back to Fog Football. Normally it means the manager gets sacked. Now, of course, the Celtic fans were chanting, sack the board. Wasn't quite throughout the game, but pretty much throughout the second half, and about 60-odd minutes to the end, sack the board was notable. And then when they showed you Peter Law and a few other board members, that's when the boos got extremely loud, only to be beaten at the end by the full-time whistle. But Rodgers obviously saying, what I do know is over many years that sack the board normally means sack the manager. Normally it's the manager goes when that starts to be sung. He said it with a smile on his face, he said it in a joking manner, but it's not like the press room burst into tears laughing with him. He's kind of right, but it's weird. It doesn't happen all that often. I mean, no one is calling for Brendan Rodgers to be sacked. I mean, obviously, yeah, there's still a lot of people, right, that call him a rat, call him this, call him, then want him back, right? But I don't really see anybody on Twitter that want Brendan Rodgers sacked. It's all about the board. And to me, Brendan Rodgers is actually deflecting away from the board and putting it on himself, because I think that just shows who he is. He's actually trying to like stick up for the board and put a bit more, take a bit of the pressure off the board and maybe put it on himself, which is it's a it's a very noble thing to do for Rodgers, or is it a guy that literally wants sacked? Who knows? But yeah, we'll dive into some more of these Rodgers comments here.
But no, listen, I think I can only really look at the players that we have here and the performance. We've known for a long time what we've needed as a squad, so I don't want to go into that. I can only concentrate on what we have here. Of course, at the end of the game, we're having to shuffle things about to try and make it work, and play players out of position. But the players' endeavour in the second half was really good. But at this level, it's more than that. So hopefully we can show that. Boys are a great bunch of lads. They're really honest. They've started the season well. Defensively, have been strong. But tonight, offensively, we just couldn't show those moments of quality to break through.
Yeah, and I think that's a key thing for Rodgers. I thought defensively Celtic were alright, and again, I think if Karat were decent going forward, they obviously would have caused more problems. But Carter Vickers, despite the one mistake we always made Edmilson chip it for like 40 yards, he was his usual self, man. I thought Liam Scales had a good game. I thought Tierney was alright. Alistair Johnson didn't last that long, but I thought when Ralston came on, he wasn't too bad. Like, all the issues for Celtic were going forward, and that's the issues. I mean, that is what's kind of been plaguing them. They haven't replaced Kyogo, and obviously they've sold Kuhn and haven't really brought in a like-for-like replacement. But like I said in the review, man, that team that Celtic fielded should still be good enough. Like, it's on Rodgers. Like, you've signed a guy up front for like 9 million, and you cannot get a tune out of him, right? And we've known this for a while, so why not give Johnny Kenny the nod? Why not start with the front three that you started the second half with Yang, Maida and Forrest? That looked a lot better. So there were so many different things and avenues that Rodgers could have went down in this game, and I think just to blame it all on the board is a bit pathetic. But like I said, I think Rodgers is trying to take a wee bit of pressure off the board, so to speak, because he is basically saying, yeah, when they chant that, it normally means the manager goes, not them. He says, and I quote, "We weren't moving as a team as we would like. The second half was better. We started well, but we couldn't find the breakthrough in the final third of the pitch. Of course, you want to take the advantage. I've been here before, having drawn 0-0 in a qualification game against Rosenborg. Very good team. We went there to qualify, and we did. Played very well and won. There's no doubt we can go there and win. Of course, you want to take an advantage with you. It's still very much in the balance. What I do know is, over many years, sack the board usually means sack the manager. It's normally the manager that goes and that starts to be sung." End of quote. So, yeah, I mean, they've overturned it before in that Rosenborg game. I say overturned it, it's 0-0. I mean, Celtic are obviously still favourites to go through. I don't think anyone's going to sit here and deny that. But this team, Karat, are just so much better at home than they are away. they hadn't won a game away from home, and here, well, I mean, not that they won the night, but every single game they've won is at home. They've won every game at home in these qualifiers, and they haven't conceded as well. And it was the first time, I believe, Celtic hadn't scored a goal at Parkhead since Hearts beat them 2-0 in December 2023. So it's a long time, folks. It's a long, long time. Anyway, that is where we're going to leave it. What do you think down below? Will the board go, or will Rodgers go? Neither's going, right? Rodgers is going nowhere, but if one was to go, like, who's going to go first? It's going to be Rodgers every day of the week, because the board aren't leaving. And why should they? I mean, all the board are going to tournament. Well, why should we leave? We dominate domestically. That's what their argument will be. But we'll have to wait and see, folks. Couple of days left in the transfer window. What's going to happen?